Alright guys, welcome back to another video. This video we are going to be doing my meta tier lists. Last video we looked at the meta evaluation list with Ace. This time it's just gonna be my, what are the best units that are out right now. Now at the time of recording this, it is the 4th, so it is the Monday before the second week of the Xenoverse celebration, and we're not sure what they're planning on releasing. Currently I'm hoping that Yellow Rose is getting a unique or a Zenkai, because they for some reason did not put him on any sort of boost this PvP season, even though they put him on Z tier boost when Ultra Sword of Hope Trunks released. So we'll still see on that, but for now we are just doing this based off essentially when Rose released next to the two Sparkings. Now, I definitely could do a top 10 list, because I think there's a very clear order here, but honestly, there's just so many, viable characters right now. As you guys can see from the pool of characters on the screen, I'm pretty sure I grabbed everyone that's at least semi-relevant. If we just look through all the Ultras, I don't think this guy... But yeah, you guys get the point. I think I've gotten everyone on here, and since we have so many decent units, I figured I might as well do more of a tier list than a top 10. You guys see the placements. We have the Godly, we have Z+, C, S, and A, and we'll just leave. If someone doesn't make the cut, then we'll just leave them in the pool. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get right in. Godly, I think only 2 units are going to be going into there specifically, and those 2 units are going to be Legend Rose and Bardock. You are seeing both of those units either in most or all of your matches, at least for me. At the time of recording, I believe I'm top 25 in the world, and that is pretty much, that combination is pretty much all you see. Rose, we know how good he is. I have him 14 stars. I know how good he is. I know how good he is on defensively, offensively, and I know how frustrating it can be to play against him as well. Rose is really just doing a lot. He has just to list some stuff off the top of my head, he has very easy access to double card draw speed. He has the forced blue card draw. He has access to 3 ultimates. He has the area change, which grabs him a full hand of cards. He has the uncancelable type neutral ultimate. What else does he have? He has the card destruction on entry. He has the 50% HP healing with the sub count increase. He has the insane sub count manipulation whenever he's getting hit. And yeah, he's just doing a lot. Buff removal on rushes and ultimates. He really is a great character, and he doesn't feel like horrible to face against. He doesn't feel toxic at all, but another reason that he's all the way at the top here, I think he's number 1 and Bardock's number 2, but the reason why he's number 1 is a lot of these units that we are going to be talking about in the rest of the video, their placements are really just going to be determined by how well they face against Rose in particular, and because of that, I think he is really deserving of the number 1 spot. You guys know how Rose works, I'm assuming at this point, just a very annoying unit. But yeah, let's move on to number 2 with Legend Bardock. Quite a come up for this character, actually. I think a lot of people were not in favor of this character when he first released, and it only took a solid blue partner, Rose specifically, to get him this high. But he just has a lot of stuff going for him. Of course, he has some issues, but which we'll talk about in a second. But the stuff he does well, his indestructible, the new form of indestructible that they're doing, it has a lot of uptime, and it can get really annoying. It's just that indestructible, if he's on standby, I think it charges in either 6 or 7 hits to an ally, and if it's on the battlefield, I think it's double that. But it charges really quickly, and so the way you should be using him is if you enter the battlefield and he has like 30% of his indestructible left, you probably want to wait to switch, just to get it depleted so you can refresh it to 100% the next time you're getting hit. In most cases, at least. He has the defensive card cost up, which can get really annoying. Rose does have ways to get around that, but we'll get to that in a second. Bardock himself, he has the force green draw. He gets the full indestructible gauge every time an ally is defeated, which I'm not really sure you want to bank on that too much. And I guess that could be the segue to a lot of the issues that Bardock has. Bardock is very inconsistent. I have him at, I believe it's 10 stars. Yeah, because red 3. 10 stars, and his damage feels very inconsistent. I think he is very reliant on the crit stacking that he does. Every time he uses a card, I believe he stacks 30% up to 60%. And I think a lot of his damage is reliant on that crit rate. A lot of his damage is locked behind having a dead ally. I believe it's every dead ally gives you 40% damage. And in a meta where a lot of these units, if not all of these units, have second life mechanics, Bardock with the indestructible, Rose with his endurance and the infinite healing, Piccolo with the indestructible, Vegeta with the endurance, Trunks with the endurance, he doesn't have any second life, Super Saiyan 4 Goku with his endurance, KO guard, endurance, revival, revival, indestructible, and revival, you guys get the point. In a meta with a lot of ways to sustain yourself, it's kind of hard to fall back on that for the extra damage. Especially on what I consider Bardock's best team. I think it is Rose, Bardock, and Nappa Vegeta. That team just has a lot of sub-count manipulation, a lot of sustain, a lot of healing. So it's really hard to get Bardock to really look good unless you mess up somewhere and you lose another unit early. Yeah, his damage is pretty inconsistent, and I think a lot of the reason for that is because he really doesn't have access to the best equips that aren't team restricted. One of his best equipment is the Awakened equipment that came out with him, the PvP equipment that released next to Goku and Bardock. But the issue with that is that it requires another Team Bardock battle member, and with the only other Team Bardock battle member being the Zenkai Red Bardock, who is really nowhere to be seen right now. We'll get to him in a bit. Because of that, he is forced to rely back on the normal PvP equipment. I mean, we can take a look at Legend Bardock's equipment options. There's only like 4 equipments that he has access to that are usable. This one is a must run. You guys can go back to the equipment guide that I made a couple videos back just to get the full details on that. He has this one, this one, this one, and this one. These are the main equips that you want to be running for this character. This one you're always going to run because he fulfills his own conditions. This one you can't really run because you're not running Red Bardock anymore, so you have to use this one, which isn't bad by any means, but you're missing out on a lot between this one and the Awakened version. And then the third one. You would want to use this one, but the issue is, as Bardock is really strike-oriented, his pure strike attack is team-gated behind having another Goku character, and you're not really running a Goku with this character on his best team. So what's happening is, you're getting the blast attack, but Bardock has a very skewed offensive stat towards his strike that he's not really be able to capitalize on this as much as he should be able to capitalize with this one. So because you're not able to use this, you're forced to rely on the PvP equipment that released next to him, and that is this one. But the issue with that is it is fully defensive. And it's a good equipment, don't get me wrong. 12% HP and HP restoration on top of 15% base strike defense and 12% pure defenses. That is a very strong equipment, but Bardock doesn't really need that because he has the indestructible to fall back to, and you're not really getting hit yourself to charge your indestructible gauge. You're relying on Rose and Nappa with their sustain to get hit so that he can get his indestructible. So he's really limited in his equipment options, and I think that's a lot of the issues where he does have damage inconsistencies that are very noticeable. Uh, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Outside of that, the pairing between these two are insane. Rose with the infinite subcount manipulation, and then Bardock also has subcount manipulation. And Rose has a lot of healing and disrupt that makes it easier for you to fill up Bardock's indestructible gauge. On top of that, they have a good pairing element-wise. Bardock gets defensive neutral, but when he's not, he has Rose to cover him against the main red being Buhan, which albeit you're not really seeing too often right now, because I think, one, people want to test out the new unit, Rose, and two, they're just scared of the Legend Blue the potential of Rose of just one-shotting Buhan, and the potential is there, just, they're kind of scared of it. I don't think it's as much of an issue as people are saying it is, but to each their own. But yeah, that is it for the godly section. I think those are the only two characters, that belong there. And if we move on to the Z Plus section, there are quite a few that I believe deserve to be in the spot. And I think the main character I believe that we really need to talk about is Trunks. This guy has had a generational glow up since between the time of his release and between Rose's release. 1, he is green, which means he can work well against Rose. Trunks has the card into card mechanic that Vegeta, the old blue Vegeta Blue has, the thing that Gohan has, the thing that, who else has this mechanic? Does anyone here have it? Kaioken Goku has that in a way. Trunks and Vegeta have that. He has that mechanic. So in a way, you could get around Rose's 2-card disrupt on battle entry. Of course, type advantage as well. And another thing, Trunks just does a lot of damage to blue characters. Well, duh, right? But of course, his Transcendent mode is really, really valuable if you are able to snipe Rose, and I think a lot of that value just comes from the fact that you're not really able to see how much time is left on the Transcendent mode. It takes 15 counts for this to complete, but the opponent isn't able to see it, so really, you're able to control when you want to activate it most cases. So the fact that the enemy isn't able to, and maybe you catch him in a sidestep, and then you just go into Trunks, who has like 1 or 2 counts left on his Transcendent mode before it goes off, doesn't give him the enemy the chance to switch out of Rose, and Rose will most likely be type disadvantage at that point, so you can easily just snipe him out. As a partner, that is also a good pairing. Both characters have buff removal. Trunks has buff removal on blue cards, ultimates and rushes. Rose has it on ultimates and rushes for allies as well, so it's a little easy to waste it, but at the same time, I think it's still valuable. 2 endurance characters, both with buff removal, both with insane disrupts. Trunks with the card cost up, Rose with the card destruction. I think that's a very valuable pairing, especially if you stack those two together. They work well on a future team. It gives them access to really good equipment, and if you put them next to the Xeno Trunks, who gives it a lot of support to both these characters, that could be a pretty solid team. It's actually a team I'm using right now. And yeah, that's just a lot of the reasons why Trunks has gone up. It's also the fact that you're not running into super dominant purples every match. I mean, yeah, you have Vegito running around, you have Nappa Vegeta, Purple Cell is really good, but you're not, you have options. Now, Rose as a partner is able to deal with them a lot better than Trunks was able to during his release, where his main team was Hybrid Saiyans next to Revival Gohan and Super Saiyan Gohan. So I think a lot of that also helps him come up from where he was after release with all the purples that are running around. And yeah, he is a pretty good unit now. Definitely deserved, of course. He didn't really get as well of a chance to shine on release as he should have, but I'm glad that he's up here. Alright, the second unit that I want to put on here is going to be Nappa and Vegeta. I think Nappa and Vegeta, by far, are the bulkiest character in the game right now. which is weird because they don't have the Zenkai, it's just their unique equipment, but their unique equipment is giving him a lot of stats. I believe it's 185% damage card and around 245% damage. They do a lot of damage. They tank really well. They have on cover change, they have card draw speed down, which could work against Rose, and Bardock as well. But overall, their tankiness is just where the real value of them is at. And their subcount manipulation coupled with Rose's subcount manipulation. When I was talking about Bardock and Rose, I did mention that Bardock's best team was next to Nappa and Vegeta. That's just because this team has 3 different second lives, and all of them have subcount manipulation in some way, and that just makes them really easy to just continuously switch in and out. And that just really helps the team survive for such a long time. And Nappa itself, he has access to good equipment. Outside of his unique equipment, he has the Saiyan Saga equipment that's giving him 15% HP, 35% base defenses, and either 5% pure offenses or 8% pure defenses. They also have the PvP equipment. They also have, if you're running him next to Bardock, you can use the Bardock co-op equipment, which gives them 20% key recovery and 12% pure offenses and defenses. That's a really good equipment for them. Helps them bulk a lot too. And overall, they pair well with Rose, and they kind of go well against Rose because pre-revive, they have the sniping potential with the ranged blue card, which does a lot of damage. And you can catch the Rose in a sidestep and get a good chunk of his health, or get one of his HP restoration procs up. And post-revive, well, I guess let's talk about the revive. Rose only has revival disruption when the enemy has a Sun Family battle member, and of course, Nappa's not really being ran next to a Sun Family character right now. It's only mainly powerful opponent, so they're not affected by that. On top of that, they have defensive neutral when they enter the battlefield, which is good against Bardock, and overall, even without the defensive neutral, they still tank really well against them somehow. And that brings a lot of value because they feel incredibly bulky even with type disadvantage. Now, post-revival, they have access to type neutral with the green card when the gauge has enough charge. It's for 3 to 5 counts, and then on top of that, I think something that's very underrated on them is that their blue card has endurance nullification, which, as you guys know, Ultra Rose does not have buff cancellation on blue cards, only ultimates and rushes. So if you catch the Rose in a sidestep with like a main ability or something, then Vegeta can do enough damage to just get through all of his disrupts and just get rid of Rose. That's happened with me multiple times. That's happened against me multiple times, and I think that provides a lot of value. I forgot to mention, pre-revive, they have, once they get hit, they force draw the blue card, which is good against the Trunks, just to get his first life out of the way. And then post-revive, they force draw a green card, which they can either use themselves to get type neutral, or you can give to Bardock or Rose to refresh cover null and just get them steamrolling as well. So yeah, Z+ for them, definitely deserved. Next Z+ character that I would want to talk about, we briefly mentioned him. I'm gonna go ahead and put Buhan up there. Now, Buhan is now 100% more in check now that we have a second really strong blue character, being of course Rose. But that doesn't take away from the value that he is providing. The counter gauges are still incredibly annoying as long as you know not to spam jumps with a Rose. I mean, that should be pretty obvious for a high-skilled player. The counter gauges are still incredibly insane. He has buff removal on all the big attacks. He has subcount manipulation. And of course, with the counter gauges, he force draws the blues, which go type neutral, which, once again, Rose cannot remove buffs from. So if you hit Rose with the counter into the blue card, he will be taking type neutral damage, and if Buhan is amply built up enough with the sub timer count restriction, it will take a significant chunk of Rose's health. And I think that is incredibly valuable in this meta, just because of the amount of stain. Just get that guaranteed damage in. And remember, post using his counter gauges, he has the attribute downgrade nullification and normal condition nullification. He's immune to a lot of the things that a lot of these top characters are doing with disrupts. He has the 3 timer counts of card protection on entry, which could be useful in niche scenarios. If you switch into Buhan and they switch into Rose at the same time and you start comboing, you're not going to lose your 2 cards. He also has the projectile green card, which is incredibly valuable. He has the AoE ultimate. If you are able to use up Rose's 2 buff removal charges with maybe your own Rose's ultimate, then I think it's just free eats. You hit someone and that does AoE damage to every single character on the field. He does have a decent matchup against Bardock. Of course, you got to be kind of careful of Bardock's indestructible gauge, but other than that, I think Buhan still provides a lot of value. It's just that people are scared that Buhan finally has a skill check in place with Rose. You just have to be careful. Don't be jumping too much, and you'll be just fine with them. I think a good team to run, if you want a pure powerful opponent setup, would be Buhan, Rose, and Nappa. A lot of sustain, good color wheel, and overall just a really good team. I think I've used it. It is pretty annoying. Has a lot of sustain, has a lot of sub-cap manipulation, the whole spiel. Alright, up next, who do we want to put in? I think we can talk about both Super Saiyan 4s at the same time. I think they're both in Z+. These characters, too, also now have a check with Rose. Rose's doing extra damage to Sun Family. He's providing more support to enemies if you have an enemy Sun Family character. They are pretty susceptible to Rose because with his type neutral blues and ultimates. The main team that you're running these 2 on, it used to be you could use them on pure GT or next to Namigoku with either Namigoku or Baby just for the increase in Zenkai buffers. But now the main team I think you should be running would be Bardock on GT. So the issue with that is that means that this Super Saiyan 4 Goku has, I believe, specific buffs tied to having a full team of GT. I think he reduces his own sub count by 1, and he has an extra cover change charge. That's the cover rescue charge, sorry. And it's actually noticeable because given the amount of blues that Rose is able to draw, if you're swapped in with Super Saiyan 4 Blue Goku, even with the buff removal, if Rose uses a blue card on you, you either 1, take a lot of damage with Goku, or with Ultra Goku at type neutral, 2, cover rescue, or 3, switch to Bardock. Either way, 2 of those 3 options, you're taking a lot of damage, and the third one, you're using up your 1 cover rescue charge, which might be useful somewhere else. And even he's still type neutral. Rose is still type neutral against Goku through the buff removal as well. So Rose just has a favorable matchup against them, and the Ultra Super Saiyan 4 and Legends Limited Super Saiyan 4 are pretty susceptible defensively. But on the other hand, offensively, they actually do well against Rose. Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku in particular. The Legends Limited Super Saiyan 4, he does have the pseudo lock-in, but Rose has the sub-cap manipulation every time he gets hit. So realistically, where you were able to use 3 cards with Goku, you're now only able to use 1 or 2. So that's something to keep in mind. But Ultra Super Saiyan 4, he still has the cover change, or the anti-cover change. He has the 4-star blue cards, which still hit like a truck against Rose, because Rose's only form of defensive neutral outside of the proactive type neutrals that he gets on blues and ultimates is when he first enters the battlefield, I believe. So he can, if you catch Goku Black, he can take a lot of damage and either use one of his health procs or get his endurance down. Has definitely happened to me, especially with a team as sustainable as Bardock on GT. I think they're still fine. I don't think they were they've taken that much of a hit because of Rose, but they've definitely felt the impact of someone that's so Sun Fam focused on the offensive end. Of course, Ultra 4 has the AoE green, which is still incredibly annoying. He has an ample amount of healing. He has the endurance. He has the Rising Rush counter. Just a bunch of stuff going for him, and I don't think Rose, completely kicked him out onto the curb. Alright, who next? I want to get the people that you're seeing most often. I think we'll go with Perfect Cell. Uh, I think he's also C tier. We just have a lot of good options right now. Cell was Zenkai next to Nappa and Vegeta's unique equipment, and I think Cell is much more of an offensive-based character, and Nappa is a lot more defensively bulky character. Cell has a lot of combo potential. He has insane value, utility. He has the short animation AoE green. He has the Vanish Restoration on his gauge, which charges up really fast. He does extra damage against yellow, so Bardock. He has the nullification of attribute downgrades on his green card, which is good against Bardock and Trunks with the card cost up. He has the endurance nullification blue card that Vegeta has post-revival, which makes him pretty valuable against Goku Black. He has faint chances on his blue card. He has insane ways to stack card draw speed every time the opponent uses the card. It's very likely that Cell, whenever at any point in the match, will have up to 3 or 4 times card draw speed, and that just makes him really valuable. Insane combo potential. What else is there to say about him? I guess a weak side of him is that he is a lot more susceptible to snipes than Nappa is. He will definitely, if the Legends Limited Super Saiyan 4 catches you, then he will probably be gone with just 3 cards. Because his only any neutral is defensive neutral when he enters the battlefield for 5 counts, and other than that, he is pretty. I don't want to say flimsy, just susceptible to yellow characters, but Cell does do, again, extra damage to yellow, so I don't think that's too much of an issue. Is there anything else to mention with him? I don't think so. That pretty much covers it. He has a good matchup against Trunks. He has a good matchup against Rose, just because of the amount of card draw speed. Kind of just ignores Rose's 2-card destruction. He has a decent matchup against Bardock. I guess the worst matchup here would be Yellow Super Saiyan 4, but you're not really seeing him that much right now just because of Rose's release. And I think he provides a lot of value, also as a partner for Trunks. Because of his combo potential, he can charge Trunks' unique gauge pretty quickly, I would say. Definitely noticeable as well. And yeah, just the overall very solid character, in my opinion. Alright, I think one more character can go into Z+, and I think I'm going to put Legend Vegeta, who's had a bit of a comeback since the GT duo got their buffs. Because Yellow Super Saiyan 4 was a very, very big counter to this Vegito. It was very likely that Legends Limited Super Saiyan 4 comes in and he just gets rid of your first life in 2-3 cards. Just like that. And the fact that you're not seeing the 4s as often as you were prior to Rose's release, I think that just helps Vegito just gain a little more value that he lost since then. A team that I've been seeing quite often, if it's not Rose, Bardock, and Nappa, it's Rose, Bardock, and Vegito, and that team has insane combo potential. Rose's drawing card has consistent double card draw speed. Bardock is kind of standard, but Vegito's also drawing 2 cards on entry and getting key every time he draws a card, and yada yada yada. He has a lot of Vanish Restoration. He has access to 2 ultimates. He has the blue card generation, the range blue card generation, might I add. Just still does a lot of damage to this day, even though he released like 2 months ago at this point. But yeah, he's still pretty weak defensively. Bardock can deal with him pretty easily. Rose can deal with him pretty easily. Even Nappa can somewhat deal with him pretty easily. But he has still tools. He has the card draw speed down when he enters the battlefield to enemies, on top of destroying a card. He still has a lot of stuff going for him. And yeah, I think that makes up the Z+ list. I think we can move down to Z. Actually, no. One more. I can't believe I forgot him. Kid Buu. Kid Buu, I think very quickly, he's still the same menace that he is. Consistent 2 times card draw speed, similar to Rose. AoE green, short animation AoE green into the Force Draw Lock in blue. What else? He has the AoE ultimate. He has the double card draw speed is very noticeable and helps him bypass Rose. He could also be a good partner with Rose if you're trying to run Rose on like a powerful opponent regen setup with the double Buu and Rose. That could definitely be a good option. Lots of sub count manipulation. I will say the one point of disadvantage at this point in Kid Buu's lifespan post platinum equipment release is a little less tanky. I mean, that's a given, right? The numbers are going up, but he still has a lot of sustain. But Kid Buu's only source of buff removal is against rushes, and since Goku Black has access to a lot of ultimates, he doesn't really care about Kid Buu's buff removal because it's not affected. So that's one point, but still, he's a very powerful character. Still runnable 100%. Just more in check with the slow power creep that's been happening with the damage multipliers and the damage card multipliers. Alright, C tier. This, I think we're going to start off strong here. Revival Gohan. I rarely see this character anymore, and it's such a significant drop-off, too. Rose has effectively provided all Sun Family characters with a check on their power, and Gohan is no exception. The main thing that Goku Black can do against Gohan is the Revival Disrupt. If Goku Black gets rid of this guy's revive, he is going down with 30% HP less than his usual. Rose overall just does a lot of damage. He's getting additional damage when you're faced with Sun Family. And if you catch the Gohan in one too many side steps, it's pretty much revive gone very quickly. That isn't to say that Gohan is bad at any point. Now, he's still the rat that he was on release and has been on any team that he's on. He's providing a lot of tools. Let's just start with pre-revival. I'm not going to say everything. The main gives him a full hand of every single card. The enhanced blue card restores Vanish, reduces enemy ki by 100. And then both pre and post revive, the blue card actually has endurance nullification, so you can catch Rose in a sidestep because once again, Rose does not buff cancel on blues. So in that aspect, Gohan still can provide value. Post revive, of course, he has insane access to AoE greens. He has the vanish removal, yada yada yada. You guys know how this character works. But because Rose is as good as he is against Sun Family characters like Gohan, he has been put in his place, finally. Up next, Piccolo, Legend Piccolo. Kind of unfortunate. The team that you're running with Piccolo prior to Rose's release, it would be regen next to the 2 Boos, but the issue with that is Piccolo is more blast oriented while the Boos are strike oriented, so that just made him not reach his full potential. But now, as the new Legend Blue, Rose has effectively taken his place on the regen team, even though Rose himself isn't a regen character. They just synergize better. And I think a lot of the issue with Piccolo, I think offensively is fine. It's defensively, even with the buff. The main issue that I had with him is that as a character with an indestructible second life, he doesn't have any sub-count manipulation from standby. He reduces ally sub-count when he's getting hit, but on the regen team, the only source of sub-count manipulation you have consistently is Buhan whenever he's about to take a big attack, like a blue ultimate rush, reducing his reducing ally sub-counts by 5. And so there are times where you need to switch out of Piccolo into Buhan, and then the opponent uses an attack, and you can't switch back to Piccolo to eat that attack with his indestructible or his bulk. It's just really unfortunate, so you're going to have to rely on Kid Buu, but if you have the full gauge, it just feels bad getting rid of that gauge, and you're going to have to wait again. That was a lot of the reason why, even with Piccolo's release, I still use the boost next to 13, because 13 at least has sub-count manipulation on ultimates and rushes, which synergizes better with Buhan in my opinion. It's just kind of unfortunate. There's some holes in his kit, but overall I think he's still pretty effective. He has the unconditional anti-revive that is good against Nappa, Vegeta, Gohan, I guess 13, Orange Piccolo. Still has some stuff going for him, but because he got replaced on his main setup, he can't be any more than a Z. Up next, I'm going to put Xeno Trunks in Z. Xeno Trunks is a all-around support character. Very good, decent bulk too. I think he has the highest potential damage card in the game because he gets like 50% damage card when he cover changes, which brings him up to, I believe it's around 340, which is a lot. He has the very annoying Kaioken Goku mechanic where when he enters the battlefield, he's sealing enemy strike cards for 3 counts, and on his green card, he's sealing enemy blast cards. It's really annoying, and he's providing like 40% support on switch out. He's providing support on his ult usage. Overall, synergizes very well with Rose, and if you're using a pure future setup with Rose and both Trunkses, that is also a really good setup because all 3 characters have endurance, 2 of them have buff removals, all of them have sub-count manipulation, and it's a pretty good team. Gives them access to good equipment. Offensively though, as a support character, he isn't really doing much. You're really this is your traditional support character. And that's pretty much all that is to be said about him. Alright, up next. I think we'll go with Namek Goku. He's in a very similar boat to Revival Gohan. Namek Goku still provides a lot of value. He supports, he has the KO guard, he has the feint procs on blue cards, he has the AoE green, he has the lock-in. Just a bunch of really annoying stuff. But at this point, he is nearing a year old, so his numbers are quite low considering, and a lot of his value is with the KO guard. But that doesn't really matter when Rose is able to come in and 2-card Goku, then quick attack him, area change, and blue guard. So, not as much value. You guys know how this guy works at this point. Dragon Ball manipulation as well. I do not enjoy fighting this character. I do not enjoy using this character, so I'm finally happy that he has a replacement with Bardock, and Rose is able to just essentially near completely shut this guy down. Alright, up next. Is there anyone else that we want to put in Z tier? Maybe we'll go with 13. 13, as a blue powerful opponent character, he's pretty much been replaced on every single team that he's available on with Goku Black. But that doesn't mean that he still doesn't provide value. Of course, he has the revive, he has the one-time Mega Disrupt with card destruction and key reduction. He has the blast ceiling on entry and enemy cover change or enemy switches. He provides insane amounts of support. He has the sub-count manipulation. He still has some stuff going for him, but it's very similar to Namek Goku. He's a little, he's been out for a little less than Namek Goku, but his numbers are still pretty low, and he gets 2-carded by the best units in the game. So, his main thing is his support, and in that aspect he is good, but other than that, he's kind of just the 3rd character on your team. Although, you could make a very annoying, powerful opponent team, blue-purple, with Rose, 13, and Nappa. You have 2 revives, an endurance character, lots of sub-count manipulation. It can be really annoying. Alright, we will move on to S tier. This guy. We'll start off with him. He's good. I think he's better than most people are saying. It's just, he is a burst character, but at the same time, he feels very combo-esque. It's kind of funny. He feels to me very similar to Evolution Blue Vegeta, the other ranged Vegeta God Key character with endurance without buff removal. That feels very combo-y. I think the main value that Vegeta provides is just his very easy access to overdrive. Every time he uses a card, it increases your overdrive gauge by 10%. And if and he goes type neutral on his third card, so he is able to output decent amounts of damage, but he is red. So the best character in the green in the game is blue, and so that's a check. And another issue with him that I found is if we take a look at his kit, he is team restricted behind having one other battle member being God Tier Vegeta clan. I don't think that's too much of an issue, but if you want to use him on something else, I mean, that's something. I'm gonna be honest, I thought initially the restriction was God Key or Xenoverse 2, but I think this is fine. I think outside of the Xenoverse 2 team, I think its best team would be Vegeta Clan next to Sword of Hope and Nappa Vegeta. That's a decent color wheel. Green, purple, red is solid. You have the green to cover to cover this Vegeta against Rose, and you have purple to cover, or you have red to cover Nappa against yellow characters whenever you're facing them. He's all right. It's just you're not really seeing him in top ranks, and I don't think that's really a testament to him, but just the meta as a whole. There's no really need. Same issue as Evolution Blue Vegeta as a combo character. He just gets hurt by all the combo compensation, just how quick it happens as well. But still provides value. I think he's still deserving to be on this tier list. Who else? I think these guys are kind of a sleeper pick. They are decently bulky. They could do well with Trunks as green and yellow. We are due for a Legend Purple with the superior red element, and so them having access to both yellow and reverse yellow could be good against all the purple units and the prospective red unit. They have good disrupts. Their combo potential is pretty decent. I think something that a lot of people forget, I think I mentioned this in the meta evaluation tier list that I made, but they have minus 80% HP restoration whenever they land a blast card. So what that does is any character with endurance, if you're spamming blast with this character, and it's very easy to spam blast with this character, if you're going against Rose, you've already gone through his healing procs at 50% HP, you just spam blast with this character and you pop his endurance, he's going to be still left at 1 HP and you can just tap him then. That's the same thing that can happen with this Trunks. That's the same thing that can happen with Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Kid Buu, Super Vegito, Xeno Trunks, this Vegeta, just a lot of these characters with endurance. I will say the one issue that I have with them is on Battlefield entry, their only cover null access is when they're using a blast card, or either on entry or tag switch. But when you enter the battlefield, you draw a random card. I feel that if they're so blast oriented, just make them draw a blast card, so then they have access to cover null. It just feels bad. There's been multiple instances where I need a blast card for them because the enemy team has strike cover changes, but I switch into Trunks and Vegeta and I draw a strike. And then I get cover change, and a potential combo is ruined because of that. So I think those are big issues with them, but other than that, I think they're still decent. They're a sleeper pick in this meta. Who else do we want to put in here? Red Bardock, I think we can put in there. You're not really running him anymore because he was on Legend Bardock's release his best partner just because of the better equipment options that you were able to give Bardock. But now that you're not running this Bardock and Bardock's best partner being a Legend Blue character, this guy essentially gets shut down. Doesn't mean he doesn't have some good things going for him. He has the endurance, or no, he has the lock-in, he has draws the full hand, but blue character, yeah. Anyone else I want to include on this list? This video is going on for quite longer than I thought it would, 45 minutes. I think Baby can go up here. The GT team, the one I was using was the Fours and Baby, and that actually got me, I think, like top 40 in the world for that season. But At this point, Baby's role has been replaced with Bardock as the sustained character. It's just with Rose having the old access and the blue card access that he does, having access to more than 1 second life is extremely valuable, and that's where Bardock comes in with his indestructible. Baby, of course, can be decently bulky with the Legends Limited Super Saiyan 4 support on his unique equipment, but he doesn't have any kind of second life, so Bardock just takes his place there. Zamasu, I think we can put up here. He is on boost this season, which is why he's good. But other than that, it's whatever. He's red, but not as much of an issue just because the amount of disrupt this guy has now. And I think that's it. I think everyone else here can be honorable mentions. I don't think there's anyone really else that belongs here anyways. Yeah, I think I have everything. So yeah, this is going to be the tier list for the meta when Legend Goku Black released. We have two very dominant characters that you're seeing in nearly every game. You have characters that you're seeing in decent amounts of games and who probably will gain some more attention when the buzz for Rose dies down, most notably the Super Saiyan Force and Buhan. And then we have the people here, they're good, they're just decent, and they don't really work. Well, I guess the Sun family character specifically, and the blue regen and powerful opponent character that's been replaced with Rose. Trunks is just there because of Uber support. So yeah, this is going to be the tier list. I guess we don't need this, and the pool can be the honorable mentions-esque layer. But let me know what you guys think. Kind of a long video, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.